Welcome to this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us Lucia Dore. She is a financial journalist, editor, documentary maker, author. Obviously, she has many years of experience in the print and online media, working in the UK, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and Asia Pacific. Written many papers, articles, white papers, management reports, and books, case studies, investigative articles, opinion pieces, newsletters, as well as web content. That's why she's the co-founder of Learn Business English. That's a new thing. We'll talk about that. But today we'll talk about her book, Seniority, How AI and Tech Can Enhance Senior Living. We'll talk about that. Let's dive into the story behind the story. Welcome to the show, Lucia.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Here
Welcome once. Welcome once again. Welcome to the KJ Masterclass, this time on the Author's Voice with KJ. So we'll talk about. But before that, Lucia, I told about you, but the best is if you can tell about yourself, a bit about your journey, about what you are doing right now, so that the audience knows who they are listening.
Now, I'm, as KAJ has said, that, I'm a financial journalist and have been for some years. I have worked largely, in Europe and the Middle East, but I have worked in Asia Pacific as well. I was in the Middle East for some years, but I was working on mergers and acquisitions. So it's slightly different here. And I came back after I'd been away for about 23 years out of New Zealand. I came back to New Zealand roundabout. I might have been 25 years or something like that. I was 28 and a half, I think, away. So it was a number of years, but I eventually decided that it was probably as well to be here. And I'm pleased to be here now. It's a good place to be. And as a consequence, I started writing. We were with a colleague. We were looking at seniority, how AI and it's called how AI and tech can enhance senior living. And we were interested in that because we have a company, I have a company now called Behavioral Shift. And it really looks at the interaction of seniors and technology, how seniors deal with technology, and we offer consultancy on that. And the story deals with the issues of, say, fear that people have around technology, how technology can enhance the life of seniors if it's embraced properly. They shouldn't fear it, but they should embrace it. And of course, it needs to be updated. It was written about 2 years ago. And in the last 2 years, so much has happened, particularly in the field of AI, that it needs to be updated with some of the latest technologies, because it was at the time we were talking about driverless cars, but they have become more, there has been some progress on there, not quite like that, but AI has developed since then. So that's really what it's about, looking at things like what's going on in the kitchen, in the bedroom, everyday living, how it can be enhanced with technology, things like fashion, the idea of smart clothes and smart glasses, how you can try on things without having to go into the shops now. You can actually use technology in that respect, so it covers quite a lot of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here is the book for the audience, and also you can have so this is the book. Lucius, I want to understand a bit better. What is it that you have written in this book? How tech can, and people generally,
it's not
a bit.
It's not highly technical. It's more talking about the uses of it, the technology. I'm not a technical person. So it's talking about technology up to a point, but not really the ins and outs of the technology. So if you're a technologist, You won't. It's inappropriate in a way because you're probably more advanced. It's for the everyday user, how you use technology. It's the end product that matters.
Absolutely. So a lot of seniors, they think, you see, technology is a very difficult thing for them to embrace. About this sort of
Exactly.
so in
Yeah,
that backdrop, I want to understand about it.
exactly. And what we're trying to do is to change that mindset that, in fact, if some technology is embraced, it can enhance your living and you can be better off. You can every day, on an everyday basis, things from driverless cars, from ovens, from things in the kitchens. And people use a lot of AI and technology and they don't know that they're doing it. And I think that's the point, is that sometimes it's just there and people take it for granted, but they don't know that using it. And also they need to overcome the idea of fear. A lot of people have fear that they think, oh, somebody younger, they can do things better than me. But it's only because they're used to doing something. It's not because they're better at it. They're used to it. So it's just a matter of overcoming that fear, I think, that people have. So we discuss the issues around fear and perhaps ways of dealing with it.
Right, right, Lucia. But in terms of, talking about embracing technology, how do you embrace this technology, especially with the advent of AI? Means earlier itself, the technology was a bit overwhelming for some of the people.
But I
Whatever.
think
How do you do it?
well, I mean, I think it's just a matter of choosing what you want to use and what you don't want to use. But you use technology every day by, well, as I say, in the kitchens, in the bedroom. I mean, the fact that you can go away and you can perhaps still put the lights on at a certain time or have alarms going off or whatever. That's all to do with AI. So we do use it, but we have to be careful. We have to be selective about what we use.
Okay, okay. And what about, you see, nowadays there are lots of scams and everything. The more you look at technology, the more it invades into your privacy, and scams and all those people, especially with the seniors in the society. They are very
Oh,
big target for young scamsters.
yes, and we look at that in terms from a criminologist perspective, and older people are generally are often targeted with AI and scammers, but that isn't necessarily the way it should be. I mean, there are ways around that. People just have to be aware that not everything is going to be appropriate for them. And if it's not, just say goodbye. Don't be scared to do that. Just to say, bye, I'm not interested. Put the phone down. Put the, switch off the computer, move out. I mean, if it's me, I just delete things. Anything that looks a bit strange, I just delete. I got something in the post the other day because they've obviously decided that using a computer wasn't any good anymore. And I just screwed immediately. I said, that looks like a scam. I'm getting rid of it. And I think you have to do that more and more. And don't be afraid to do it. And sometimes you might get it wrong, but usually not. It's very rare that you would.
Absolutely. In terms of artificial intelligence, how have we discussed? You wrote this book came out in 2023. It was only a few months that the AI had come in by that time.
That's
How
right.
have you dealt it then? Are you looking at any updated version also?
Yes, I think it will have to be updated as a consequence of all AI has advanced a great deal since then. So it needs to be updated to take into account things like driverless cars, the fact chat GPT and the use of that, things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of any particular thing that you remember, okay, this is one thing I must share with the with the audience, that okay, this is one thing they must know about from the book.
Oh, I think they just have to know how to overcome fear. That everybody has some fear of technology, and that's normal, and that's okay. But if you overcome it, you can benefit from it. You can benefit from the appropriate use of technology. And I would think that's more problematic now, given the number of scams around. People have to be very careful about what they say and do.
Absolutely. What was the most challenging part of writing this book, Lucia?
Oh, the most challenging is just, well, I hate to say it was the referencing. You can write it, but writing references for everything takes up. It's as long as writing the book. So I didn't like that very much.
Absolutely. So, what about your present projects that also you are into now?
Well,
Business English and all. Tell us about that.
now I've got two. One is obviously to do with the book, and two is a course that we have to learn business English, and we're now actually dealing with a number of universities in India for that, and really it's just an online course that's bringing together both AI and my knowledge of teaching English, given that I'm a financial journalist, and there's sort of modules about that. Then people can pick and choose modules like marketing, investment, communication, things like that. And I'm also in the middle of writing another course. Well, we've done one in the past, but it hasn't got it's on journalism. So people can, just look at journalism and the different aspects of that, and how to embrace journalism, whether it be that's really changed as well. I think over the years, it's no longer it's not print or broadcasting. It's obviously social media, it's everything. And those things are also dealt with in business English. So it's really a focus. We have about, at the moment, 10, there's probably 12 modules or so. And you pick and choose. Finishing one, I'm finishing one at the moment on aviation finance, and there'll be one on real estate. We also have different courses on things like how the teachers teach business English, and I say business English rather than just opposed to English, so people can work and network in a business environment. They know they use the language of business rather than just being able to get along. They can network, they get to know people. I lived in the Middle East for a long time, and of course there are a number of people from South Asia, and it's important, I think, to be able to work or to deal with different cultures too, and to understand them. And if you speak business English, it allows you to focus on the cultural differences and not just the English.
Absolutely, absolutely. And talking of your book, in a nutshell, what would you want the readers of your book, key insight, key message to take away from that?
Well, I think that they need to take away the fact that they should embrace technology, that it can benefit them, that it's not all bad, and technology does have its upside. And if they want to learn more about that, they can go to a website I have called behavioralshift.net, but they also .net, but also they from there've been a hot number of different things that have been developed, if you like, things like, as I say, learn business English and whatever, but we need to really focus on the digital element of that and how social media feeds into what we're learning as seniors.
Absolutely. So, a lot of people who would want to get in touch with you, know more about the book, more about your course, Business English, and all. What is the best way for them to do so?
The best way is to email me, given that I'm in New Zealand, so my time zone is always a little bit different to most people's. I'm either at lucia.claire.dore@gmail.com or lucia@luciadore.com. And that's
Wonderful.
probably the easiest way to get to me. And then I can direct, I have a number of websites, but yeah, from there, that's the easiest way. Okay.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KJ. Thank you so much indeed
Thank
for
you
joining us.
very much. Thank you. Goodbye.